If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear, the camera's here.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to Jerry's NBA Talk TV. I'm NBA Jerry, and thank you for watching. Another dual commentary here for you. I got a very special guest here. I actually sought him out. I went to his channel, and while I was doing the 30 teams and 30 days special, I came across this particular gentleman's page, and I found him very, very amusing. He's a very funny young guy. He's actually a Bulls fanatic. He's been a Chicago Bulls fan for a long, long time. So guys, please welcome my special guest, BullsTalk23, also known as Joe. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
No doubt. I'm glad to be on it.
All right. You have a very interesting team, the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
A lot of people are paying attention to them. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about you first, your relationship with your team, and a little bit about the Chicago Bulls.
Well, I got into basketball and Bulls when I was in 5th grade. And I remember watching my first game with the Bulls, and it was against the Minnesota Timberwolves when they had Kevin Garnett. And I was watching the game, and I had no idea what was going on yet. And I'm like, the Bulls are really bad. And my brother's like, yeah, but you got to watch them because they're the Bulls. And I'm like, oh. So then that's how I started getting into the Bulls, and I just...
Now who was on the team back then, and what year was that?
This was about 5th grade. It was about when I was in 5th grade, so it was about 10 years back. And this was during the Jamal Crawford, Ron Mercer, Dalibor Bagaric stage with the Bulls, where they're rebuilding and they're starting to get Elton Brand, and then we traded him for Tyson Chandler. Yeah, I got into basketball after the Jordan era, actually.
Okay.
I was unable to see the Jordan era, but for some reason I grew a big attachment to the Bulls after the Jordan era.
That is very strange.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people can't say that, because for those of you that don't know and the people that do know, I was a big Chicago Bulls fan as a kid. That's what got me into basketball, watching Michael Jordan. So I have a very special place in my heart for the Chicago Bulls every time I look at the United Center. So, Joe, why don't you tell us about your channel and what you do on your show on BullsTalk23?
Well, I basically talk about Bulls. I give Bulls updates on trades, injuries, etc. And after every single game and before every single game, I'll break down the game, give you the keys to who we're playing. So let's say we're playing the Magic next. I would give you how the Bulls would be able to beat the Magic. And after the Magic's game, I'll tell you what happened during that game. And then I'll move on to the next game the Bulls would have in their schedule. And I would break that down as well. It's a never-ending process.
So you are the one-stop shop for the Chicago Bulls.
Correct.
And see, this is why I went after you to be a correspondent, because you're perfect. Your whole channel is dedicated to your team. You talk about nothing but your team, and everything Chicago Bulls you cover, and I respect you a lot for that, man. You're doing a great job as a correspondent and as an NBA fan and as a fanatic of the Chicago Bulls. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem. And I'm a big fan of yours. I really enjoy your work, man. You are very funny, man. So for those of you that don't know, I want you guys, after this video, I want you guys to go ahead to his channel and watch his show. I mean, because he has a very interesting opening he does every time he starts his show. So let's talk a little bit about the Bulls, since I got the foremost expert on the Chicago Bulls. Tell me what you're happy about right now with the Bulls and what you're disappointed with the Chicago Bulls right now.
Well, we'll start with disappointment first. The biggest disappointment has to be Carlos Boozer being out right now, of course. He was set to be out 8 weeks, and he got injured right before preseason was about to start. But at the same time, I'm very excited because the Bulls are, if you go to ESPN.com, they're actually 5th in the power rankings without Carlos Boozer. So this team's only going to get better from this point. And one of the big standouts right now is Derrick Rose, who's getting about 26 points a game and eight assists a game. And my prediction for him was actually this year was 25 and 10. So he's very close to that. So he's having a breakout year for a point guard. And he's asserting himself into, in my opinion, being an MVP candidate for this year. And another good surprise for the Bulls is Omer Asik, who's the backup center, and he's a rookie. And all he does is play defense, rebounds, and the fans seem to have a good spot for him for being a fan of the Chicago Bulls. So it's been very good for the Bulls so far this year, and I'm very excited.
Okay, good, good. Now tell us a little bit about the new additions, the Utah Jazz guys, Ronnie Brewer and Kyle Korver. What do you think about them so far?
Well, I'm a big Kyle Korver fan, and so is my buddy. He already got a shirt jersey of Kyle Korver just because he's white and he could shoot. And that's all he's been doing so far, and he's been doing a great job of it. Mm-hmm. And he actually put up a 20-plus point game when a couple days ago against the Houston Rockets. I believe it was Houston Rockets who went into double overtime. Mm-hmm. No, excuse me, that was the Phoenix Suns. They went to double overtime. Korver had a 20-plus point game, and he's been doing great. And Ronnie Brewer has been he's been struggling to a hamstring injury, but he'll be coming back and he'll be at tip-top shape soon enough. He's known for his defense and jumping ability, and you need your legs under you for that. And for his hamstring injury, he'll be back though.
Okay. Now we're gonna get back to the players and the team in a minute. I want to talk to you about the summer of 2010. This was obviously a big summer for free agents, and you were actually one of the teams that were supposed to land one of the big free agents, especially LeBron James. Tell me about the process living in that area. I know you don't live directly in Chicago, but you live close. Tell me about that process and how close were you in your minds to getting maybe a Dwayne Wade or, more importantly, a LeBron James?
Well, for Dwayne Wade, I personally felt like a lot of people around here said, "Oh, we're going to get Dwayne Wade." I'm like, "No, we're not." You just knew what Dwayne Wade was doing. He was suckering himself going to like each NBA. Well, this is my opinion, and just making us think, getting us off track on trying to get LeBron James. And I never felt like we had a chance of getting Dwayne Wade. For LeBron James, I actually thought the Bulls were the best option for LeBron James, and I'm sure a lot of people around here would agree. We had a good setup around him if he were to choose the Bulls. So we had the great point guard and the great center that Miami Heat actually looks like they desperately need right now. And the Bulls have those two pieces, and then we have the great surrounding pieces around these players right now that could have been around LeBron James. So my opinion, if LeBron James wanted to go to a winning team right away and for the future with a player like Derrick Rose, I think the Bulls would have been the best option, and I'm sure everyone around here would agree. But he chose a different path, and that was his decision. But around here, a lot of people were expecting LeBron James to come, but since we didn't get him, we didn't dwell on it. We got Carlos Boozer. We know this was a good step, and we got Derrick Rose, who is asserting himself into, again, a superstar. So the Bulls are very excited either way. So we'll live with that.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that he didn't go to Chicago. I felt like that team was basically perfect for him.
Yeah.
He would have been the unquestioned leader. Derrick Rose would have been second in command, and with all the pieces around him, I thought it would have been a good fit for him, but he chose to go to Miami. Now, Let's talk about your new coach. Now, is it Tom Thibodeau or Tom Thibodeau? How do you say his name?
Coach Thibodeau, and we call him Tibbs for short.
Okay, so let's talk about Tibbs. How do you feel about him so far with his new offensive sets and his defensive strategies with the Bulls?
It's a big improvement from Denny Valnegro. I could say that, tell you that much. Even though this is also Coach Thibodeau's first year, he's been in the league for about 20 years now, being an assistant coach, and he knows the game very well. He's known for his defense, and you could tell by the Chicago Bulls player have bought into his defensive strategies. And he's also brought some of the Celtics offense with him to the Bulls. They would run that off-screen play for Ray Allen, and now we tend to do that for Kyle Korver, who is good off the ball. Mm-hmm. So we stole one of the Celtics' little playbooks there for Kyle Korver. And I'm very excited for Coach Thibodeau. He never seems stressed. Apparently, he's always in the gym before the players, and he's just awaiting on the players to get there and has all their workouts set and all the practices ready. So both Bulls fans should be very excited for Coach Thibodeau.
They should be, and they should be very excited to have you as a correspondent too, so they can go to your channel and check it out because you give them all the great news.